Abraham decided not to worry Beach about the scheme he was forming. He clapped a hand on his son's shoulder. "It'll be all right, son." Beach rubbed his brow. "I hope you're right. Now let us enjoy this fine summer day." Abraham leaned back and said a prayer of thanks for the agreeable weather, beautiful land, and his good health, his straight back, strong arms, and steady legs. Still, at times he felt his 63 years, in muscles and joints that ached after cutting down trees, chopping wood, tending livestock, and mending wagons and implements. But he just slept it off and started over the next day. That was all a man could do, give his best to taking care of his wife and kin. The two horses, drawing their wagon, swished their tails at deer flies, and the July sun bore down on Abraham's back. He opened his top shirt button and jangled the reins, urging the horses to pick up the pace. They had a long trip ahead from the edge of Manistee to their settlement in the woods of Hiawatha Township. 12 miles over the cut pine flats and rocky rollaways, past the slough and through the thick hardwood forests wedged between Lake Michigan and Lake Superior. Abraham loved this land. Whenever the evils of the world stirred him to anger or impatience, its peacefulness calmed his soul. Almost every time he made this drive, he indulged in the memory of his first foray, 10 years ago this summer. It was August of 1882, one of those perfect summer days filled with glowing heat and tepid breezes. He'd prevailed on his most trusted companion, Harvey Booth, his nephew and assistant preacher, to take up pack and blanket roll, travel by train to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and venture out across its dirt and corduroy roads. The preemption law had opened land for homesteading, and he hoped to find parcels for himself and his many relations. "Think of it, Harvey," Abraham mused as they rode through a stand of towering white pines. "We could leave off preaching on the streets of hardened cities." Harvey, a sturdy 42-year-old widower, nodded. "It'd be a chance to start fresh." "Yes, we could build a community of our brethren." Several miles inland from the north shore of Lake Michigan, they meandered on horseback through an expansive stand of beech, maple, and birch. Abraham straightened in his saddle and gazed at the plush forest floor and its jade-green brush, all stippled in golden hues. Perking up his ears, he said, "I feel the Lord's presence here, Harvey." "Amen, Uncle. The sun shines like rays from heaven through those treetops." Abraham and Harvey steered their mares toward the fringe of a swamp lined with cedar, and Abraham pulled on the reins. "Look," said Abraham, sliding out of his saddle and squatting down to scoop his hands into a clear, gurgling spring. He tasted the water, so pure and cold that its sweetness lingered long on his tongue, and splashed it on his sweaty face and mosquito-bitten neck. As he rose and turned a full circle, he divined, in the flicker of shimmering branches and the whisper of the breeze, the strains of angels' songs. "This is it," he smiled up at Harvey. "This is our Eden." From the fall of 1882 on through the summer of '83, the relations of Abraham Byers and his wife, 8 Byers and Kepler families in all, proved up 8 adjacent 160-acre parcels in the Hiawatha Township. They logged pine and hardwood to build cabins and craft furnishings, cleared stumps to make meadows, and planted gardens and orchards. Even a few neighbors, drawn by the settlers' religious spirit and adherence to temperance, bought tracts from the homesteaders. They called it Byers' Settlement, and Abraham Byers proudly reigned as its patriarch.